Good evening, everybody, and happy Monday. So excited to be here. I promise I look forward to Mondays. No matter what is going on in my day, the thought of having book club and being able to be a conduit or the gift that God uses to help you to get into the mind of the author literally gives me joy. And so I am praying that you all had an amazing week thus far, and that your week, this new week, is starting off with a bang and a blast, right? And for those of you who don't know me, this might be your first time. And if it is your first time, let me know in the chat that this is your first time on Book Club. We want to celebrate you. We want to love on you and give you big shout outs for being here with us today. And so, people often ask me, why am I so passionate about book club? And I want to share with you some of the reasons why book club is so important. I remember the days that I did not enjoy reading. And what I've learned over the years of building successful businesses and building successful platforms is that you're never going to earn more than you learn. I've also understood in this capacity of leadership that you cannot pour from an empty cup, and that leaders are readers. And so if you understand what I'm saying, and if you're picking up what I'm putting down, then type it in the chat. Which one of those things resonates with you more? Either you can never earn more than you learn, leaders are readers, or you cannot pour from an empty cup. And then, hey, there's no better place than to be on a Monday than to be with me. And so I'm just a girl from the hood who did not go to university, but I have a gift. And once again, I'm going to share with you that the gift that I have is to help you to get into the mind of the author, therefore to understand the book with much more clarity and conviction. And so we are currently reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And here's the deal. You're probably going to say, well, I already read that book. Well, I promise you that even if you've read this book before, you will never, ever read it like you're reading it right now. Now, here's the deal. You don't even have to physically have the book. I am going to be reading this to you. We are almost done the book. So for those of you who are just joining us, you will see that we are almost done the book. And stay tuned. Stay tuned, because we're going to do another giveaway. We've got our winner from last week is Carol Jackson. And we did not forget you, Miss Carol Jackson. We are going to be shipping out your book. We're actually thinking about waiting until your other order is in and shipping them all at one time. But Carol Jackson won our gift from last week. And stay tuned, because I'm certain that we will probably have another winner at the end of book club. And so I don't know about you all, but if you have made it to every single book club since we've started reading Think and Grow Rich, drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat, because I want to see if there's one person who has not missed a book club since we started this new read, which is Think and Grow Rich. Now, for those of you who are wondering, where are we going from here, right? Tedra Gordon says, I have not missed one book club since we started reading Think and Grow Rich. How cool is that? Is there anybody else? Shout out to Tedra Gordon from Philadelphia, right? For not missing. And I'm going to tell you all, that doesn't mean that life didn't life. There were many days that Tedra was in her car listening, at the hair salon, listening. And I'm telling you, she just makes no excuses, cooking dinner, listening. And so I had a typhoon literally tonight. I was cooking earlier today, trying to make sure that I prepared food for my family. I have to travel this week again as well. And I wanted to make sure that they had good food in the house all week long. And something dropped and broke, spilled all over. I was rushing to get done, had to change my clothes to get here to be with you all. But I am excited to be here. So let's not Alicia Gordon said, I have not missed either. I mean, Alicia Richardson. I'm looking at Tedra and Alicia's name. So we've got Alicia Richardson and Tedra Gordon who have not missed a book a book club since starting Think and Grow Rich. Congratulations to both of you. You know what? That's simply amazing. Meaning that they have it in their minds purposefully to make sure that they are growing, learning. And so let us go ahead, and I'm going to start from the top of this page, and we're going to go ahead and start. They are the ones whose desires are so persistently applied that defeat is finally changed into victory. All right. If you are a person who has been here for most of the book clubs, let us know what you're loving about Think and Grow Rich. If you've been here a few times, let me know what you're loving about book club and about Think and Grow Rich. All right, in the comments. So, we who stand on the sidelines of life see the overwhelmingly large number who go down in defeat, never to rise again. We see the few who take the punishment of defeat as an urge to greater effort. These, fortunately, never learn to accept life's reverse gear. But what we do not see, what most of us never suspect of existing, is the silent but irresistible power which comes to the rescue of those who fight on in the face of discouragement. If we speak of this power at all, we call it persistence, and let it go at that. One thing we all know, if one does not possess persistence, one does not achieve noteworthy success in any calling. Now, I don't know about you all, but I don't know if you just heard what the book said. The book says, if one does not possess persistence, one does not achieve noteworthy success in any calling. I don't know about you all, but this is saying if we don't have persistence, nothing that we do, we won't have success in anything that we do. As these lines are being written, I look up from my work and see before me, less than a block away, the great mysterious Broadway, the graveyard of dead hopes, and the front porch of opportunity. You know, let me read that again. I want to make sure that everyone heard what I just said. As these lines are being written, I look up from my work and see before me, less than a block away. I want you to hear what the book is saying. The great mysterious Broadway, the graveyard of dead hopes, and the front porch of opportunity. From all over the world, people have come to Broadway seeking fame, fortune, power, love, or whatever it is that human beings call success. Once in a great while, sometimes steps out from the long procession of seekers, and the world hears that another person has mastered Broadway, but Broadway is not easily nor quickly conquered. She acknowledges talent, recognizes genius, pays off in money only after one has refused to quit. Okay, I think we need to unpack that, Paul. I don't think that I could really go to the next page without us unpacking that right there. So the book is saying there are a lot of people who want success in various different areas, but right now the book is using Broadway as its example. And the book is saying Broadway recognizes, listen, wait, let me go back. But Broadway is not easily nor quickly conquered. She acknowledges talent, recognizes genius, pays off in money only after one has refused to quit. So let's unpack that. Broadway knows when someone's talking about it, but not being about it. Broadway is only going to pay money and acknowledge talent and recognize genius after a person refuses to quit, because it is only after you refuse to quit that you can even make it to Broadway. So many people want the fame and the fortune, and they want to be able to put it on their resume. And I hope you're hearing in the spirit what I'm saying. Broadway. But they haven't done the work required to hit the stage in Broadway, because it only recognizes it. It only awards it or rewards it once you've refused to quit. You know, anybody ever watch the ballet, ballerinas? Anybody watch how graceful they are? Has anyone ever seen how beautiful they look and how fragile and how literally it's like serene? It's just beautiful. How beautiful ballet dancers are. Anybody ever notice that? I'm gonna wait till it catches up in the chat to see if anybody's responding to me. Has anyone ever seen a ballet, whether you've seen it live, whether you've seen it on TV, whether you've seen it in a movie? Anyone ever seen a ballerina and how graceful a ballerina dances? Yes, elegant, graceful. Anybody ever seen a ballerina's feet? Have you ever seen a ballerina's feet? Bloody, cut up. See, we see on the outside, we see on the outside the tutu and the bun, and we see the beautiful outfit and the music, and we get caught up in the serenity and the elegance of the dance. But we forget about the bloody feet. We forget about, okay. So Broadway is not easily nor quickly conquered. That's a really, really interesting choice of words. Broadway is not easily nor quickly conquered. So for those of you who want massive success where you are right now, Broadway is not easily nor quickly conquered. Are your feet bloody? Oh, you want the stage, but your feet aren't bloody. Some of y'all gonna catch this. See, here's the deal. I'm a professional network marketer. And in my profession, I often hear people say, well, I've been in network marketing for 10 years. I've been in network marketing for 15 years. I've been in network marketing for 20 years. Really? How many of the 20 years did you actually make a decision to really go all in? How many of the 20 years did you really decide to become a professional and learn the things that it requires to be a real professional? Are your feet bloody? Or are they just now starting to get bruised? Because Broadway is not easily nor quickly conquered. So this success that you say you want, it's not coming easily. It's not easy to conquer. Are your feet bloody? Then we know he has discovered the secret of how to conquer Broadway. The secret is always inseparably attached to one word: persistence. The secret is told in the struggle of Fannie Hurst, whose persistence conquered the Great White Way. She came to New York in 1915 to convert writing into riches. The conversion did not come quickly, but it came. The conversion did not come quickly, but it came. The conversion did not come quickly, but it came. For 4 years, Miss Hurst learned about the sidewalks of New York from first-hand experience. She spent her days laboring and her nights hoping. When hope grew dim, she did not say, "All right, Broadway, you win. I quit." She said, very well, Broadway. You may whip some, but not me. I'm going to force you to give up. One publisher, the Saturday Evening Post, sent her 36 rejection slips before she broke the ice and got a story across. The average writer, like the average in other walks of life, would have given up the job when the first rejection slip came in. So Fannie Hurst got 36 rejection slips before even breaking the ice. And somebody tell you no one time and you're done. Somebody tell you no, or two people tell you no. Now you got two no's and you're done. But Fannie Hurst got 36 rejections before getting a glimpse, before she could even break the ice. It doesn't say that she got a yes. It says before she broke the ice. She pounded the pavements for 4 years to the tune of the publisher's no, because she was determined to win. Some people can't last 4 minutes, Keith Flydell, good evening. Some people can't last 4 weeks. Some people can't last 4 months. And you know what I realized, right? So in my profession, Keith, people in my profession, Paul, now here's the deal. You got to know when something's just done, right? When a company might have some products or leadership that's just awful, products ain't really working, products are overpriced, no real retail value. Like, you got to know when it's a dunion, right? But other than that, she walked the pavements for 4 years. Walked. And what I realize is when a person decides after they didn't really give it their all, that they're going to go do something else over in XYZ, right? They still take them over there. So if you didn't really learn or become who you were supposed to be, it's going to show everywhere you go. The problem still is going to be the person looking in the mirror. I take me wherever I go. I take my work habits wherever I go. So after it gets a little hard, there goes those feet again, right, Carol? After it gets a little hard, the real you starts to show up when it's not so easy. What your feet look like? Are your feet bloody? So for 4 years, Ms. Hurst learned about the sidewalks of New York from firsthand experience. She spent her days laboring and her nights hoping. When hope grew dim, she did not say, all right, Broadway, you win. She said, very well, Broadway, you may whip some, but not me. I'm going to force you to give up. One publisher, the Saturday Evening Post, sent her 36 rejection slips before she broke the ice and got a story across. The average writer, like the average in other walks of life, would have given up the job when the first rejection slip came in. She pounded the pavement for 4 years to the tune of publishers' no's because she was determined to win. Then came the payoff. Everybody, I need you to type it in the chat if you are not driving. The payoff. Then came the payoff. The spell had been broken. The unseen guide had tested Fannie Hurst, and she could take it. From that time on, publishers made a beaten path to her door. So she went from pounding the pavements, rejection slip after rejection slip after rejection slip, after no, after no, after no, after no, after no, after no, to now they chasing her down. They're banging her doors down. The payoff. Money came so fast, she hardly had time to count it. Now, I don't know about you all, but I sent a video to some friends of mine through the night. And the video that I sent them simply stated it was going to happen rapidly, rapid favor, rapid money, rapid business, rapid. I don't know about you all, but somebody needs to receive it. The payoff, right? And so from that time on, money came so fast, she hardly had time to count it. Then the moving picture men discovered her. So she went from writing to now movies, the moving picture men. The moving pictures rights to her latest novel, Great Laughter, brought in. Do y'all see this number? Do y'all see this number? Do y'all see this number? $100,000, said to the highest price ever paid for a story before publication. Her royalties from the sale of the book probably will run much more. Now, this was back in 1915. So $100,000 in 1915 was like as $1 million is today or more. Briefly, you have a description of what persistence is capable of achieving. Fannie Hurst is no exception. Wherever men and women accumulate great riches, you may be sure they first acquired persistence. If someone acquired great riches, you are assured that they've acquired great persistence. Broadway will give any beggar a cup of coffee and a sandwich, but it demands persistence of those who go after the big stakes. Katie Smith will say amen when she reads this. For years, she sang without money and without price. Before any microphone she could reach, Broadway said to her, come and get it if you can take it. Uh-oh. Come and get it if you can take it. Oh, you want to win? Let me see. How bad? Come and get it if you can take it. Woo! Come and get it if you can take it. She did take it until one happy day that Broadway got tired and said, oh, what's the use? You don't know when you're whipped, so name your price and go to work in earnest. Miss Smith named her price. It was plenty, a way up in figures so high that 1 week's salary is far more than most people make in a whole year. Verily, it pays to be persistent. And here is an encouraging statement which carries with it a suggestion of great significance. Thousands of singers who excel, Kate Smith, are walking up and down Broadway looking for a break without success. Countless others have come and gone. Many of them sang well enough, but they failed to make the grade because they lacked the courage to keep on keeping on until Broadway became tired of turning them away. Persistence is a state of mind. Put that in the chat. Persistence is a state of mind. Persistence is a state of mind. Therefore, it can be cultivated like all states of mind. Persistence is based upon definite causes, among them these. A, definiteness of purpose. Knowing what one wants is first and perhaps the most important step toward the development of persistence. A strong motive forces one to surmount many difficulties. B, desire. It is comparatively easy to acquire and to maintain persistence in pursuing the object of intense desire. C, self-reliance. Belief in one's ability to carry out a plan encourages one to follow the plan. Through the persistence, self-reliance can be developed through the principle described in this chapter on auto-suggestion. D, the definiteness of plans. Organized plans, even though they may be weak and entirely impractical, encourage persistence. Accurate knowledge, knowing that one's plans are sound based upon experience or observation, encourages persistence. Guessing instead of knowing destroys persistence. F, Cooperation, sympathy, understanding, and harmonious cooperation with others tend to develop persistence. G, willpower, the habit of concentrating one's thoughts upon the building of plans for the attainment of a definite purpose leads to persistence. And H, habit. Persistence is the direct result of habit. The mind absorbs and becomes a part of the daily experiences upon which it feeds. Fear, the worst of all enemies. Fear is the worst of all enemies, can be effectively cured by forced repetition of acts of courage. Fear, let me say that again. Fear is the worst of all enemies, but can be cured, can be effectively cured by forced repetition of acts of courage. Everyone who has seen active service in war knows this. Fear is the worst of all enemies and can be effectively cured by forced repetition of acts of courage. So if you're afraid, do it anyway. Before leaving the subject of persistence, take inventory of yourself and determine in what particular, if any, you are lacking in this essential quality. Measure yourself courageously, point by point, and see how many of the 8 factors of persistence you lack. The analysis may lead to discoveries that will give you a new grip on yourself. Now, here are the symptoms of a lack of persistence. All right? The symptoms of lack of persistence. Here you will find the real enemies which stand between you and the noteworthy achievement. Here you will find not only the symptoms indicating weakness of persistence, but also the deeply seated subconscious causes of this weakness. Study the list carefully and face yourself squarely if you really wish to know who you are and what you are capable of doing. These are the weaknesses which must be mastered by all who accumulate riches. 1, failure to recognize and to clearly define exactly what you want. That is a symptom of a lack of persistence. And so, how do you expect for God to do anything in your life and you still don't know what you want? That's like getting in your car, turning on the ignition, and getting on the road, and you just driving. But you don't know where you're going, just driving. So if you fail to recognize and clearly define what you want, that shows a lack of persistence. 2, procrastination, with or without cause, usually backed up with a formidable array of alibis and or excuses. Alibis and or excuses. Procrastination, with or without cause. 3, a lack of interest in acquiring specialized knowledge. So you want success, but you won't do anything necessary to acquire better skill sets. 3, y'all, my daughter is on the phone and she is loud, okay? So indecision, the habit of passing the buck on all occasions instead of facing issues squarely, also backed by alibis. 5, the habit of relying upon alibis instead of creating definite plans for the solution of problems. So, I know I was supposed to, I know I was supposed to be there. I know I was supposed to be on training, but I had a headache. And I know, but this is the time of year that listen, I'm about to say something that's going to be a little violent. Before I say it, do I have your permission to be honest? Because I don't want nobody getting in their feelings. But I need to know if we're all adults here and if I can really be honest. Let me know if I could be honest before I say what I'm going to say. Okay. If you reach out and you say, I know I've been MIA, but this is the time of year that I normally get. Mama said yes. That's all I needed. Mama said yes. It don't even matter what nobody else said. When they say, well, this is the time of year that I normally get sad. This is the time of year that I normally get depressed. This is like you plan your entire year, your entire life on being sad this time of the year. So the same way that you could decide to be sad, watch your mouth, right? I guess it's the same way that you could decide to not be sad. I mean, last I checked, that's what makes sense to me. I don't know, Paul, but I hear people say, this the time of year that I'm depressed. This is the time of year that I watch your mouth. Like, are you serious right now? Did you wake up today? Do you have your right mind? Are you living in your car? You may not be eating filet mignon, but I don't care if it's hot dogs and baked beans, oodles and noodles, grilled cheese, sugar sandwiches. I don't know. Bowls of cereal, oatmeal, grits. Why in the world are you deciding that this is the time of year that you just gonna be sad? But you tell me you believe in God. You tell me that you have faith. Fitness is an act of faith. That's what Pastor Mike Todd said. Fitness is not just physical fitness. Fitness is mental fitness. Fitness is emotional fitness. Fitness is financial fitness. Fitness is spiritual fitness. Fitness is an act of faith. So, oh ye of little faith, because you would dare say out your mouth that this is the time of year I'm usually sad. Okay. 5, the habit of relying upon alibis instead of creating definite plans for the solution of problem. 6, self-satisfaction. There is but little remedy for this affliction and no hope for those who suffer from it. Uh-oh. Me. 7, indifference. Usually reflected in one's readiness to compromise on all occasions, rather than meet opposition and fight it. So you know what people show me is who not to take with me into a fight. That's what I'm learning. I'm learning who really a chump, and I can't call you when it's time to fight. I'm learning that you all bite. You're all bark, no bite. I'm learning the people who wah, talk. But you're telling me that you're premeditating, projecting depression that ain't even happened. And because this is the time of year that you choose to be depressed, so that you have an alibi or an excuse to not have to do anything. You have an alibi or an excuse to not have to show up. You have an alibi or an excuse to what? You have an alibi or an excuse. The habit of blaming others for one's mistakes and accepting unfavorable circumstances as being unavoidable. 9, weakness of desire due to neglect in the choice of motives that impel action. So we run from the motives that cause us to take action so that we can have an alibi. We can blame other people. 10, willingness, even eagerness to quit at the first sign of defeat, based upon one or more of the 6 basic fears. 11, lack of organized plans placed in writing where they may be analyzed. 12, the habit of neglecting to move on ideas or to grasp the opportunity when it presents itself. 13, wishing instead of willing. I sure do wish I could get X, Y, and Z versus willing. 14, the habit of compromising with poverty instead of aiming at riches. General absence of ambition to be, to do, and to own it. Literally, y'all searching for all the shortcuts to riches, trying to get it without giving a fair equivalent, usually reflected in the habit of gambling, endeavoring to drive sharp bargains. 16, the fear of criticism, failure to create plans and put them into action because of what other people will think or do or say. This enemy belongs at the head of the list because it generally exists in one's subconscious mind where its presence is not recognized. See the 6 basic fears in a later chapter. Let us examine some of the symptoms of the fear of criticism. The majority of people permit relatives, friends, the public at large to so influence them that they cannot live their own lives because they fear criticism. You know, let me stop for a minute and I want to say this. There's a lot of people, especially people that I am in business with, who are afraid to move forward because they're ashamed of what their families will think. They really don't make an effort because they're full of pride and they don't want their family members to think that they're in need. So rather than ask for the help, like when it comes to like launching your business or things like that, what you'll do is you'll make an excuse. You'll call 1 or 2 people who tell you no, and then you back down because the 1 or 2 people that tell you no, you called them because you knew they were going to tell you no. Now, I'm going somewhere. If your family was the catalyst or if your family and friends were the support that you needed to grow your endeavor, they would have already done so for you. You wouldn't be broke right now. You wouldn't be looking for customers right now. So what I don't understand is, why do you care what your family and or your friends think about you? I ain't gonna do all that, because pride goes before a fall. But what I've learned and what I've recognized is that the majority of my success has come from perfect strangers. Perfect strangers. You know, I closed a deal today. And in closing the deal today, what was so dope about the deal being closed is that the gentleman said, "No, we're going to put your juice in the store." I said, "Well, do I need to come in a couple days a week?" He said, "No. The juice is going to sell itself. Just make sure you have some marketing material, no." He said, "The goal is for you to now work smarter, not harder. Because your juice is going to be purchased even through EBT in my store." Do y'all? A perfect stranger, not a family member, not a friend, not a neighbor. Help me understand why you could care less about what your family and friends think. Because if they had the means to take you from where you are to where you need to go, they would have already done it. Make an ask of yourself. Put it in the chat. Make an ask of yourself. Because could it be that what you really need is held up in your mouth? But because you too proud to ask, because you sitting over there acting like everything good, like you good, and that's what it is. You don't want anyone to know that you got a need. So instead of you asking, you go and ask the one or two people that you know gonna tell you no, so that gives you an alibi or an excuse to not have to ask anyone else. Huge numbers of people make mistakes in marriage and they stand by the bargain and go through life miserable and unhappy because they fear criticism, which may follow if they correct the mistake. Anyone who has submitted to this form of fear knows the irreparable damage that it does by destroying your ambition, your self-reliance, and the desire to achieve. Millions of people neglect to acquire belated educations after having left school because they fear criticism. Countless numbers of men and women, both young and old, permit relatives to wreck their lives in the name of duty because they fear criticism. Duty does not require any person to submit to the destruction of his personal ambitions and the right to live his own life in his own way. People refuse to take chances in business because they fear the criticism which may follow if they fail. The fear of criticism in such cases, it's stronger than the desire for success. People aren't afraid to start a business. People are afraid of what other people are going to say if they fail. Because they're going to be like, well, I told you so. How many times did the Wright brothers fail before the airplane went into the air? How many of you, when's the last time any of you been on a flight? When you sat in that seat, did you thank the Wright brothers for not giving up? Because had they given up, you wouldn't have flown from point A to point B. Their planes kept failing and failing and failing and failing and failing and failing and failing. And here's the deal. Failure is a part of the process. The problem is most people don't know how to fail forward. People refuse to take chances in business because they fail the criticism. Too many people refuse to set high goals for themselves or even neglect selecting a career because they fear the criticism of relatives and friends who may say, don't aim so high. People will think you are crazy. When Andrew Carnegie suggested that I devote 20 years to the organization of a philosophy of individual achievement, my first impulse of thought was fear of what people might say. The suggestion set up a goal for me far out of the proportion to any I had ever conceived. As quick as a flash, my mind began to create alibis and excuses, all of them traceable to the inherent fear of criticism. Something inside of me said, you can't do it. The job is too big and requires too much time. What will your relatives think of you? How will you earn a living? No one has ever organized a philosophy of success. What right do you have to believe that you can do it? Who are you anyway to aim so high? Remember your humble birth. What do you know about philosophy? People will think that you are crazy, and they did. Why hasn't some other person done this before now? These and many other questions flashed into my mind and demanded attention. It seemed as if the whole world had suddenly turned its attention to me with the purpose of ridiculing me into giving up all desire to carry out Mr. Carnegie's suggestion. I had a fine opportunity then there to kill off ambition before it gained control of me. Later in life, after having analyzed thousands of people, I discovered that most ideas are stillborn and need the breath of life injected into them through definite plans of immediate action. The time to nurse an idea is the time of its birth. The time to nurse an idea is at the time of its birth. The time to nurse an idea is at the time of its birth, not a week later, a month later, when negative Nancy done got into your head, when the enemy is on this shoulder telling you, you know you're going to fail. You know ain't nobody going to buy that from you. You know you're not going to lose the weight. You know you're not going to write the book. You know you're not going to start the business. You know you're not going to, you know you're not going to, you know you're not going to. So because you didn't nurse it right away, now here you go. Now the negative is overshadowing the positive because you sat still and didn't take action. The time to nurse an idea is at the time of its birth. Every minute that it lives gives it a better chance of surviving. The fear of criticism is at the bottom of the destruction of most ideas, which never reach the planning and action stage. Many people believe that material success is the result of favorable breaks. There is an element of ground for the belief, but those depending entirely upon luck are nearly always disappointed because they overlook another important factor which must be present before one can be sure of success. It is the knowledge of which favorable breaks can be made to order. You know, I want to say this. We've been here in Georgia a little over 2 years now. And literally, it has taken over 2 years for one person that doesn't know me, I've never met me a day in their lives, just watching me on social media. It's taken 2 years, November, December, January, and 2 years and 2 months for one person to tell me yes, to where I'm able to put my product in their business and it's going to sell for itself. I don't have to be the one pushing the product. 2 years to get a yes. 2 years, 2 months. But you know, at the end of last year, I told everyone that 2024 was going to be a year of miracles. I told everyone that the number 8 was the year of what? What did I say? And for those of you that are sitting still, sitting around the house all day long, waiting for something to happen, because you didn't nurse the idea at the time of its birth. And every minute that it lives gives it a better chance of surviving. Many people believe that material success is the result of a favorable break. You believe that was a favorable break? No, that came from persistence. That every single day I look like I'm in business, whether I like it, whether I feel like it or not. I'm in business every single day. Every day, my social media looks like I'm in business. Every day, I'm on the phone talking with people. Every day, my stories are full. Every day. But what did I say about the number 8? 2024 equals the number 8. During the Depression, W.C. Fields, the comedian, lost all his money and found himself without income, without a job, and his means of earning a living. Vandeville no longer existed. Moreover, he was past 60. He was past 60 years old. He was past 60 years old. When many men considered themselves old, he was so eager to stage a comeback that he offered to work without pay in a new field, movies. So, he ran out of money, Paul. He was older than 60. He decided to stage a comeback and even said, and I'll do it without pay. In addition to his other troubles, he fell and injured his neck. Too many that would have been the place to give up and quit. To many, that would have been the place to give up and quit. But Fields was persistent. He knew that if he carried I lost my play. If he carried on, that he would get the breaks sooner or later, and he did get them, but not by chance. Marie Dressler found herself down and out with her money gone, no job, when she was about 60. She too went after the breaks and got them. Her persistence brought an astounding triumph late in life, long beyond the age when most men and women are done with ambition to achieve. Eddie Cantor lost his money in the 1929 stock crash, but he still had the persistence and his courage with these +2 prominent eyes. He exploited himself back into an income of $10,000 a week. In 1929, that was a lot of money. Heck, in 2024, $10,000 a week is a lot of money. Verily, if one has persistence, one can get along very well without many other qualities. The only break anyone can afford to rely upon is a self-made break. These come through the application of persistence. The starting point is definiteness of purpose. Examine the first 100 people that you meet. Ask them what they want most in life, and 98 of them will not be able to tell you. If you press them for an answer, some will say security. Many will say money. A few will say happiness. Others will say fame and power. And still others will say social recognition, ease in living, the ability to sing, dance, or write. But none of them will be able to define these terms or give the slightest indication of a plan by which they hope to attain these vaguely expressed wishes. Riches do not respond to wishes. Riches do not respond to wishes. I'm going to say it one more time. Riches do not respond to wishes. They respond only to definite plans backed by definite desires through constant persistence. We're going to stop right there because we're going to go into how to develop persistence when we come back next week, because I don't even want to start. We're going to be finishing this chapter, I pray. We're going to finish this chapter next week, and then we'll be in chapter 10. And remember, y'all, we only have, after we start next week, we'll have 5 chapters left. And we really are almost done this book. I don't know about you all, but riches, wow, that was so powerful, do not respond to wishes. So, ladies and gentlemen, it sounds like it's time for us to stop faking. It sounds like it's time for us, because the reality of it is who we really are is what's showing up in our results. In the moment, see, here's the deal. Here's what's wrong. People think by really admitting who we are or where we are, that makes us a bad person. It doesn't make us a bad person. It means that I lack faith in this area. I've really been frauding. I don't really have it like I'm trying to portray like I got it. And I need help. And you know what I realized, which is why I love the self-confidence formula and I love this book, Psycho-Cybernetics, because what people really got to understand in 2024 is I want people to get off their high horse, stop looking at the flaws of everybody else, and look in the mirror. Because if you look in the mirror, if all of us would look in the mirror, we would not have time to see the flaws of anyone else. Riches will not, do not respond to wishes. So while you're sitting home doing nothing, acting as if you're super busy, because the thing is, like, I'm thinking, like, if I batch content, right, and I get it all done, then because I got a lot of content done in the last 24 hours, then that frees you up for the rest of the week, right? No problem, Keith. We miss you, Keith. Remember, we were just talking about Keith. Keith Liddell's there. Do you have Keith Liddell's number? Okay. And I am here to tell you that if you get it done, then what are you doing with the rest of the week? Go outside, go meet some people, do something that you wouldn't normally do. Do something that's going to get you one step closer to what you say you want. Because riches do not respond to wishes. So, last week's winner, and we have not shipped it out yet. After you placed your order now, I'm thinking that I want to wait so we can ship all your stuff at one time. Carol Jackson was our winner from last week. But what I'm going to do is, because we have 2 people who said that they answered first. So don't get mad if you're like, oh, I didn't miss one either. But 2 people, when we first got on, I asked, who has not missed one book club since we started reading Think and Grow Rich? And 2 people said me, Tedra Gordon and Alicia Richardson. Congratulations. You also will win a copy of our book club journal. All right. Our book club journal, which is not my journal, but it's a journal that I picked up, and you all will enjoy utilizing this book along with book club to help kind of guide you through our lessons, even the ones that are to come. So congratulations, Tedra Gordon and Alicia Richardson. Hey, just because you said you show up every single week, and you have not missed a week of Think and Grow Rich. All right, y'all. All right. So congratulations. You got Carol Jackson, Tedra Gordon, and Alicia Richardson all have won a copy, earned a copy, or won a copy of the book club book that we picked up for some giveaways, because we love giving and we want you all to know that we appreciate you lending your time and being here with us every single Monday. We don't take it lightly that anyone joins us. And so listen, no matter what you are going through in life, I want you to remember that you can live again, laugh again, hope again, dream again, and you most certainly can bling again. I want you to have a blingtastic day, a blingtastic rest of your evening, a blingtastic week. Pay it forward this week. Do a good deed. Let's be kind to one another. I want you all, if you would, hashtag BookTube, Goodreads, and BookTok in the comments for me. Would y'all put those hashtags in the comments for me? It is so important. If you have not subscribed to my channel, Bling TV 3765, please make sure that you subscribe to Bling TV 3765 so that you never ever miss a book club. We will be right back here next Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, for those of you ladies, sorry, but right now this is just for the ladies. For those of you ladies who desire to connect with me outside of being here on book club, right? And maybe you're not in business with me, then I do have a page that I would love for you to connect with me. I am just starting to build that page. I promise we're going to get more active in that page as well. We're going to have some fun in that page. I love to have fun, but I want you to go ahead and go to www.beautybodyandbank.com. You see it right there, www.beautybodyandbank.com. You must answer all the questions so that you can be let into that page. There's only like 3 or 4 simple 3 questions, right? Before you'll be let into that page. But I would love for you all, go ahead and you can't click that link. You actually got to type that in your browser or copy and paste www.beautybodyandbank.com. Now, what is that page all about? Really community. It's about understanding that beauty really is only skin deep and the beauty really lies within, but that we're going to get that body and that bank account right. And so if you have a desire to level up this year and you want to be around other like-minded women, go ahead to www.beautybodyandbank.com and go ahead and answer those questions, and you will get added into that page in the next 24 hours. All right, you guys. So don't forget, meet me here next Monday. You never know what we're going to do, right? As we are almost done, you guys. Think and grow, think, and grow rich. Good night, everybody, and God bless you all.